I just can't shower enough. I'm like, oh, I just feel like just a stinkier person. Hey Health Nuts, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nicole. If you're new here, I am a mommy of a now 4-month-old, wow, she's growing so fast, little Miss Sage. And I thought it would be really fun to just share a video talking about things I kind of wish I knew before having a baby. And we're keeping things all positive, but there's definitely things that were surprising to me that I kind of wish I knew. Maybe you already know these things, maybe they are a shocker. We're gonna be talking about all the juicy and nitty-gritty things about having a baby. So before we hop in, make sure you are subscribed, click that button down below so you do not miss a video, and let's hop right into it. So originally I was gonna do 10 things, and then I was like writing a list, and we ended up with 15. So it's gonna be a little chatty video, so make sure you have like a snack and a drink, and I'm probably gonna have to break to feed Miss Sage. But we're gonna get through this, and I have some exciting things I want to talk about, just in case you don't know already. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna be that person, like that best friend that tells you these things that you wish you knew. So the first thing, we're keeping it really light and simple. It is talking about baby clothes. Actually, my first two are baby clothing related. And the first one is, everyone told me don't buy newborn clothes. They're not gonna fit in it for more than a week, or your baby might just be too big when your baby's born and you won't even need them. So I honestly thought, like, I'm just not gonna buy any newborn. I'm just gonna buy 0 to 3 months, and that's all I'm gonna need. And then as I was like nearing my due date with Sage, I realized that I don't think I'm gonna have a 10-pound baby like I thought I was going to, because big babies like run in my family. I was almost 9 pounds. Was I almost 9 or 10 pounds? I think I was almost 10 pounds. So we have big babies in the family, and I thought, my baby is probably gonna be big. I'm not gonna need small itty bitty baby clothes. And because I thought, just in case, I want her to have clothes that actually fit her when we leave the hospital, I did buy a couple of newborn things, and guess what? She was in those clothes probably for the first 2 months. Like, she did fit into some of her smaller 0 to 3 clothes, but I did use the newborn clothes, and I'm glad I got them, because honestly, she would have been swimming and everything. So just maybe grab a couple, but I wouldn't just say no to newborn clothes entirely. My next thing is another clothing related thing, and it is to buy zippers and footies. Let's say it again, zippers and footies. That's all you need in the newborn stage. Like, yes, have some fun, like 2-piece sets and stuff, but like for late night changes, even daytime changes and stuff, zippers and onesies that already have the feet, like the footies in them, you don't have to deal with socks and stuff, are ideal. Baby socks fall off, I'm not even kidding you, like every 2 seconds. Like, someone actually commented on one of my videos that Sage didn't have socks on, and like her feet were gonna freeze. Guys, like, they fall off all the time. We keep our house really warm. They're disappearing all the time. They get lost in the dryer and the wash. Like, they get stuck in the belt. Like, they just disappear. So if you can avoid using socks when they're really, really tiny, just go for the onesies with the footies and get the zippers, because some of the snaps are so hard to deal with. So that is my advice on baby clothing. You drool so much. Look who's getting so big. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna take a little break to feed this little one, and then we'll be right back. So after a little intermission of feeding Sage, she's just going down for a nap right now. So if you hear her fussing in the background, it's because our bedroom is right behind the camera. So my next tip is tracking naps. So this is something I never really thought of, and I thought, oh, you don't need to do it in the beginning. And some babies don't go into like a regular routine until they're like 6 months. With Sage, I honestly felt like within like the first 3 to 4 weeks, we started kind of seeing like some kind of patterns with her, and we started just trying to track when she goes down for a nap and her wake windows. And I had no idea what a wake window was before we had Sage. We didn't really do a lot of research with napping. I just thought, oh, that's something for us to deal with later, and like sleep training. I had no idea what any of that is, and we're still not at that point yet. Like, she's in a full-blown sleep regression right now, that 4-month thing that everyone talks about. Yeah, we're in it. But the whole like wake window, I think, is really important. It's just understanding, or just being aware of how long they're awake for, and then putting them to bed before they get like that crazy overtired fussiness. It's just what really worked for us. I feel like everyone does their own thing, but I do feel like from the very beginning, at least like after that like 3 or 4 week mark, we started just being more mindful of when she was going to sleep and how long she was sleeping for. Because I feel like in the beginning, they just fall asleep on you anywhere, everywhere, and you don't really track it, which is fine. Like, I just think that's like such a special time to be with them. But I did notice that she gets really cranky when she's overtired. So just being mindful of like how long she's awake for, how long she sleeps for, and that time isn't the same every single day, but the wake windows are good to be mindful of. Now, this one is really just related to mamas who are able to or are breastfeeding, so it doesn't apply to everyone. However you feed your baby is amazing and special, and I don't want to take that away in any form, but I just want to say breast milk is magical. I use it for everything. If she has a little scratch, breast milk. Baby acne right now she's dealing with, breast milk. Goopy eye, breast milk. Like, honestly, I'm ready to take that stuff and do like a breast milk face mask at night. I swear it's like magical. It just heals everything, and I feel like it solves all the problems. So if you are breastfeeding, Cashew's coming to say hello, try breast milk, because I swear it helps in every scenario. Next one is babies cry and that's okay. When Sage was first born, there was definitely a lot of crying going on, and I, as a new mom, I'm on social media and stuff, and I'm seeing all these other moms that had babies around the same time as me, and I'm like, their babies just look like so peaceful, so happy all the time. Like, what's wrong with my baby? That's honestly like what I thought. And at the same time, I was also sharing moments with Sage on social media of her just happy, not crying. So I'm sure everyone thought that Sage just doesn't cry. And I just think it's like this really unhealthy thing. I think she's like crying right now in the background. Perfect timing, Sage. I think it's just really important to understand that babies cry, and it does not always mean like something is wrong. Sometimes it's just how they communicate, and sometimes they're just crying because they're bored, they're talking. I really don't know why babies cry all the time, but like, as long as you're like, go through the list. Are they hungry? Is their diaper changed? Are they tired? Sometimes they're just fussy. And with Sage, she has always been a really alert baby. And she, like, if we put her down in one thing, she's only really in there for like, in the beginning, she'd be in there like 5-10 minutes. 10 minutes would be long, trust me. And she'd start crying, and she really just wanted to be held a lot. And you know what? Like, looking back, I'm glad I held her all the time, because now she doesn't just sleep on me anymore. Like, not just like, she will if I'm breastfeeding her, but not just like randomly fall asleep on my chest out of the blue. So I do think it was a really special time with her to enjoy that. But yeah, like, if your baby cries, it's totally normal, and I'm trying to show more of that realness on my channel and on my Instagram, because I think it's just like this unhealthy thing that us mamas or parents have in our heads, that like babies don't cry, and if your baby's crying, it means you're a bad parent. Or that's at least what I would tell myself in my head. Like, my subconscious mind would be like, you are failing as a mother, even though I knew that wasn't true. That's how I felt. And I would constantly be like, Matt, Google, why is she crying? Why is she crying? And like, it was the basic stuff. Check if they need anything. Maybe they have gas, upset stomach. Maybe they're just crying to cry. So don't freak out or feel like you're a bad parent if your baby cries, because they do, and it's okay. My next point is days for me have been really short and nights have been long. When we had a good stretch, like a month stretch, where Sage was sleeping really, really good, and I do feel like I was in a more normal routine. But when they are not sleeping throughout the night, let me tell you, those days go so quick. For me personally, I have felt like the days have been really short and the nights have been long when Sage is not sleeping throughout the night. I feel like I'm someone that loves daytime. I'm a morning person, and so a lot of times, like, I'm waking up in the morning still tired, and a lot of times I'll try to get a morning nap in, maybe an afternoon nap. Maybe I don't do all these naps in one day, but a lot of times in that first month I was napping, I would say like right after dinner, and then I would like be up with her for a little bit. And I just felt like my day was so short because I'd be having that like after dinner nap, so my day felt like it was ending at like 7 o'clock, and I just wanted to be up and stay up and watch movies with Matt and just like enjoy my day. And I just felt like my day was just consumed with breastfeeding, trying to squeeze in a nap, trying to take a shower, trying to eat something, and before I knew it, it was like nighttime again, and it's gonna be a long night ahead of me. So that's how I felt. I know they say days are long, what do they say? Days are long, years are short. So I just wanted to kind of bring that to days have been really short for me and nights have been long. So as like someone who really enjoys the daytime and mornings, it's just been a little bit hard to like feel like I don't get enough of that. But you know what? Everything is always changing, which is another point I'm gonna get to. My next thing that I also want to talk about, because this is something that I felt pretty emotional about, is that I do feel like dads take, or partners that aren't actually birthing the baby can take like a little bit longer to grow a bond with the baby. Even you yourself, if you're the one that birthed the baby, there's a lot of pressure that once that baby comes out into the world, that you just have this instant like, oh my God, you are my world, I love you so much moment. And if that doesn't happen, I think it can be really unsettling, and you just think like something's wrong. Why don't I love this baby as much as I thought I would? Why don't I have those connections? And for me, I do feel like I had that right away with Sage, but I know Matt, he did express this to me and I did get upset about it, but that was also because I was very hormonal. But you know what, a lot of dads and partners experience this, where they take some time to get to know that baby and create a bond. And I just want to say, I think it's totally normal. Don't be upset if your partner says that to you, like Matt said to me. And he was just trying to be like open with his feelings, and I totally got really upset about it. But I was just like an emotional mom, and him telling me that made me feel like he didn't love Sage, which was not the case. He's like, I love her. I feel like I just don't know her yet. And you know, now they're like two peas in a pod. I feel like she's like a mini Matt. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that because I just think it can be really like upsetting if you feel like there's something, a magical spark that's missing, because I feel like it's totally normal and a lot of parents go through that. And you know what, like they're growing, you guys are growing together, you're learning each other's personalities, and I think that bond takes time to get really strong and like concrete. My next point is everything is just a phase. The good times, the bad times, everything is always changing. Nothing is constant. So if you have a really good week of baby sleeping really well, don't feel like that is like the new norm. Next week might be horrible, and that's okay because it's gonna change. It might get better, it might get worse. I just think it's important not to be like stuck on any specific routine with your baby, because they are changing every single day, which means your routine is changing every day. And I think when you come to terms with that, it makes the next thing around the corner a little bit easier to handle and take care of. All right, this next point is something I actually talked about on my Instagram stories the other day, and I had so many moms reach out and be like, oh my God, that same thing happened to me, and I didn't even know it was like pregnancy or postpartum related, or just moms were like, yeah, me too, and no one talks about it. So I kind of mentioned a little bit about being more smelly in my postpartum video, but like now I'm 4 months postpartum, and let me just tell you, you just smell, you have a stronger body scent after having a baby. I don't know if this is everybody, but apparently a lot of people have it, and it's just not something that I ever got told before having Sage. And like I said, it might not be everyone, but I feel like it happens to a lot of moms. And yeah, you're just a smellier person, and you know what, it's okay. Actually, it's kind of annoying, but I'm dealing with it. So I just feel like I used to be someone who like, I just wasn't super smelly, and now like I wake up in the morning and I honestly feel like I just can't shower enough. I'm like, oh, I just feel like just a stinkier person. I don't know. I notice it. I've asked Matt, and he's like, oh, I think like once or twice I've kind of noticed like maybe a stronger smell, but like he is really kind and is like, no, I don't notice anything. But I definitely do. And yeah, I don't know. I just means I'm trying to make sure I take more showers and put on that deodorant, but like there's nothing I can really do. I just like wanted to talk about it because it's a thing and I didn't know this, and I'm just dealing with it. And you know, it's like not the end of the world, but it's just something I never experienced before having a baby, and like now I'm all of a sudden like smelling like this different person and I'm unfamiliar with it. So I just wanted to point it out. So if you're feeling a little stinky, just know we're all in that same stinky boat. All right, let's talk about food when you're pregnant and then postpartum. I feel like everyone always thinks like when you're pregnant, everyone has this like preconceived notion that like you just eat whatever you want. Honestly, for me, eating was like way less enjoyable when I was pregnant. I honestly felt like I couldn't eat a full meal and enjoy it. I would just feel so stuffed and uncomfortable. I was always having to eat like small portions or like easy to digest foods like oatmeal and soup and cooked foods. Like smoothies and salads were like not a fun time for me. And like maybe I overdid it with like the fruit and the yogurt and the cheese in the beginning. I kind of know I did, because those are like very bloating inducing foods, especially especially if you eat a lot of them like I did. But I just felt like I could not enjoy eating like I did pre-pregnancy. And then postpartum, I feel like that was the time for my appetite to shine, and I was just like eating everything that first month, because when you are breastfeeding, you are so hungry, like way hungrier than you were during pregnancy. I think you actually need more calories when you're breastfeeding than when you did growing the baby, which I never really knew. Yeah, after I had Sage, I felt like I was making up for lost time, and I was just snacking when I wanted to snack. I was eating, I was having ice cream like every single night, and I loved it, and I fully enjoyed it, and I did not feel bad about it. Now I'm back to like eating my smoothies or drinking my smoothies and stuff. Still ice cream, but I just wanted to point that out. Like, not everyone enjoys eating while pregnant. I honestly just felt like I just had to kind of suck it up and be like, it's not forever. I'll eat what I want, how much I want after baby's out. But definitely eating while pregnant was like not a fun time. It was just like, you have to eat because you have to eat, but not because you enjoyed it. Does that make sense? Speaking of postpartum, let's talk about healing. One thing I never really thought about was the fact that like your stomach, and like I said, this is just my experience. I don't know if this is everyone's experience, but my stomach was quite sore. So obviously like your vagina is gonna be sore, like baby's coming out, and everyone's like, ooh, like that's gonna be sore after. But you know what no one talks about? Your stomach. Your muscles have been stretched out. Your stomach, the inside of your stomach actually has an open wound. So this is something I had no idea about until I gave birth. I gave birth to the placenta, and the midwife was like doing a placenta tour, which is when they like show you it and where baby was and all that. And she was saying like, you know, you need to be careful these next couple weeks, really take it easy because you have an open wound in your body. So she was basically telling me where the placenta is attached in your body leaves like an open wound when it exits your body. I had no idea. I thought it was just like floating around in there and it goes out, everything goes out, and like there's nothing, no damage in your stomach, if you know what I mean. But apparently there is a wound that, I know that sounds weird, like open wound in your stomach, and it doesn't like sting or anything, but it definitely feels like achy after. My stomach just felt a little like tender and sore for like weeks after giving birth, and that's why it's so important to make sure you're resting those first couple of weeks. And then even now, 4 months postpartum, like still like I find near the top where my ribs are, because your ribs do actually flare out, which is another thing I didn't realize, like they just stay like that for a bit. Like mine are still not fully down, but the muscles like in my abdomen are still sore, and like I just never thought that like a stomach is something that was still going to be sore, I guess, postpartum. So everyone is different, but I definitely felt uncomfortable in my stomach. I would do a lot of like massages and stuff with some oil to help just like stretch and soothe those muscles. But just something to keep in mind, your stomach is another thing that may be sore and definitely needs to heal postpartum, post-birth. Yeah. Like even after you push out the baby, they're like all the nurses and stuff have to like push and prod on your stomach to help like get everything out and make sure like that there's no hemorrhaging or anything. And even that sensation was so uncomfortable. Like it wasn't that it was like super painful, it was just like a little queasy and uncomfortable. And honestly, it was like my least favorite part about postpartum was just like everyone pushing on my stomach every few hours. It was just uncomfortable, and then I just felt like I was just sensitive and tender in that area. But yeah, just something I never thought about. Yeah, so if you're feeling like a little sore in the stomach, muscle aches and stuff, I feel you. Like literally I feel you. It still is a little achy, and I'm hoping, I don't know how long it takes to heal, but I'm just like taking my time with recovery, giving myself a little massage, and hopefully things will repair and come back together. Like literally, I want my muscles to come back. All right, let's talk about the 4th trimester, because yes, everyone knows now the 4th trimester, it's like just a continuation of pregnancy. But what I didn't know is that there's like new symptoms that pop up. After I gave birth to Sage, my skin was so itchy, like my neck, my chest. I read a couple of different things, like some people said it's hormones, some people said it's like just your immune system like balancing out again. I don't know, but it was so annoying. Like I just, all the time, itching, my neck, my chest, and it wasn't like a rash or anything, it was just itchy. So that was something new. Definitely a lot of pregnancy symptoms like went away after I gave birth. But just things like I talked about being more smelly, hair loss. I kind of knew about that, but yeah, the itchy skin was something new. Those were like the main ones that I noticed, but just, you know, it's good to just be aware that yes, certain symptoms will go away, but new ones may pop up, and it's just your body kind of like readjusting and balancing to all these like changes in your hormones. And there's just a lot going on. So yeah, I think it's just your body like regulating itself and getting used to a new version of yourself without baby, but still with all these baby hormones. Let's talk identity crisis, or like mourning your old self. I've talked to a lot of mamas about this, and it's not something I really was like aware that I was dealing with. But I think especially with your first kid, a lot of parents will say that it's a hard transition. You go from like it just being the two of you, you have a certain life that you've been used to living, and then all of a sudden, like this, you are a mom and you have so much responsibility. Everything, life as you know it, has changed forever. You have so much responsibility. You're now taking care of this human. Your time is no longer yours. Like there's just a lot going on, but you are now, before anything else, a mom or a dad. And I feel like that can be a lot to sometimes just absorb and take in. And like, yes, you're still your own person, and yes, you can have other hobbies and likes and things outside of parenthood, but at the same time, like that is now your new focus, especially during those like early years. And it can be a lot to take in, and like a lot of people find it hard to kind of just wrap their head around this like new person that they are now. And honestly, like I feel like I've coped pretty good. Like, I mean, I definitely have struggled with like the work-life balance, and that's something I'm just still navigating around, because I love being a mom and I love my job and what I do here online. And you can have more than one thing that you love. And obviously I love Sage more than work, but like I love the two things, and I wouldn't be whole and happy if I just was like, I don't have time to work and do what I love, which is just connect with you guys online. Like I truly love what I do here, and it brings me joy, it brings me purpose, and a part of me would be missing if I felt like I could no longer do that. This next one is parenthood is a full-time job, not a side hustle. And what I mean by that is like, yeah, okay, we know like taking care of a baby is a lot of work, but like I guess in the back of my mind, I always thought like, yeah, you can still do what you do and then like take care of baby in between. And like, no, the baby is like the 40 hours a week, if not more, job. And then like anything you want to do is like just an accessory. It's the side hustle to your main job, which is now being a parent. Whatever you think you're going to be able to balance when you become a parent, just like half that. Like whatever you're getting done now, just cut that in half or in a quarter, and that's what you're going to be able to get done, at least in that first little while. And that's okay. I think if you're aware of that, it's easier to adjust. We quickly realized that we were going to get way less done than we thought we were going to get done, and that was just the matter of the fact. And you know, now I feel like we're adjusted, we're kind of into a routine. Things do get better, like baby starts to sleep more. Things do start to get a little bit more predictable, so you can like plan your day around it. She goes to bed a lot earlier now, so we have a little bit of time, just the two of us. You really do have way less time. Your main focus is the baby, and anything you want to get done is like just the side. It's the side of fries. The baby is the hamburger, the main course. Last but not least, pelvic floor changes, and it honestly feels different now to pee, to urinate. Like, I knew that your pelvic floor is basically this like little, not little, it's like this like muscle that just holds everything up, like all your organs, the baby while you're pregnant, and it basically goes through a lot of trauma if you're having a vaginal birth, and actually maybe any birth, even C-section, I'm not quite sure, but basically after you give birth, you need to help like restore and repair your pelvic floor, because it's really important for like exercising, for not peeing your pants when you jump, like so many things. And so I highly recommend seeing a pelvic floor physio, so you can do exercises and stuff to help strengthen your pelvic floor after birth. But one thing I did not notice is like it's different now to urinate. Like I feel like I still have to pee all the time, but it's harder to like fully eliminate, if you know what I mean. Like I'll pee and it's like hard like to get it all out, and then like I think I did, and like I swear I have to pee like 30 minutes later. It's like I never peed. Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. Like the feeling of peeing is different. I'm sure this is something that's gonna like feel a little bit easier as I continue to do my pelvic floor exercises, but it's just like a different sensation. And yeah, sometimes it's like, it's still that like mind and muscle connection I think I'm still working through. Definitely in that like first month, I probably peed my pants a couple times. Just like, not like peed, but like a little tinkle here and there. You're like, oh, like you just have no muscle control. And like now 4 months postpartum, like I have control because I've been working with my pelvic floor physiotherapist, but I still find just like the muscles don't work like they used to. So anyways, we're still working through it, and I know it's probably gonna like improve and get better, but yeah, just something I thought I would mention. There you have it, 15 things I wish I knew before having a baby. I hope this video was helpful. Maybe you're pregnant watching this, maybe you just had a baby, maybe you're like 15 and not planning on having a baby until you're 30 and you're just like curious on what's going on. I hope you enjoyed today's video. You are a parent watching this and you have your own things that surprised you after baby came. Leave them down below in the comments. I am super interested what you guys have to offer. And don't forget to subscribe. Click that red subscribe button down below. I have a full mommy life playlist if you want more baby and mommy videos like this. Check that playlist in the info box down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. I feel like I've been sitting here chatting for way too long. I'm gonna grab my water. So I'm gonna hydrate, Sage is sleeping, and I hope you guys have a fabulous rest of your day. Bye guys.